Okay, so this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And really what it boils down to is that typically when you look at these different cubes, you'll see that it has a nice plywood texture, but the plywood texture is the exact same on each cube, and that's kind of what it's always been with Eevee materials. And you can manually create new textures if you want and then adjust them, but that's really not the best way to do that. So if you're familiar with our CW One Texture to Rule All, you'll see I've got a new node in here. It's this random, let me pull this out, random location node. And when I start pressing this, you're starting to see that now all of a sudden, all of this changes. And now we have completely different textures on each one of these cubes. Now for things like plastic and chrome and things like that, it's not going to really make much difference. But anything that uses a texture, a tileable texture map, it will change. And then of course, we could also always adjust this as we go. These same scales and roughnesses and bumps still work. Now one of the other interesting things about this node group is I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to create a new material, and I'm going to add let's do just a checker texture, and let's hook that up, and then let's also add a texture coordinates. We'll make this one a generated, so we put that in there, vector. So there we have it. So now I can move this up and down, change it how I want in scale. But again, Shift D X, move it over here. We're getting the exact same texture, as you can see. Let me move the scale up just a little bit. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we're getting the exact same texture. So if I just take this same node that I just created as a group, and it's called, it'll have something other than node group 01, but I'll drop it in there. And now I start adjusting it, and you'll start to see that we're getting lots of different changes. Now no longer are these the same. So this little node group, and we'll call it a randomized location. There you go, random location node group. And this little node group right here is really valuable. For those of you Patreon subscribers, you'll get a copy of this and check it out. It's actually not all that complicated. I've just got object info with random, combining that into a multiply, which is actually the multiply is the number that we're using as the random location, and then we're using an add vector, and we're throwing that into a mapping into the actual vector coordinates for the mapping, and then we're outputting it. So that's kind of how that all works. Okay, well, thanks for watching. That's a quickie. Bye.